All right, thank you. That's official now. So a big part of philosophy and yoga is the purpose of yoga, as we know, is to awaken us, to return us to our true self, to inner peace, to our whole nature, not separate. All right. Now, Maya is the force of delusion in yoga philosophy, and it's really 10,000 things could turn into delusion. So I can't really explain it properly. There's stories that's the experience of delusion and Maya, and they're in the Bhagavad Gita, different aphorisms to explain Maya. But we all know when we've been caught in busyness, restlessness, forgetting the truth of our true nature. So we want to always, ideally be in the alignment with our true self, that seed that is in us already whole, already free. And it is a very interesting practice to see ways we get taken away from that. So there's individual ways and there's collective universal ways that take us out of our true self. Beauty of yoga, it brings us back to that natural restoration and peace. So I'm going to have a quote from Yogananda. So the purpose, like I said, of yoga is to awaken us from this dream of delusion and show us our greater reality. We are all gods. If you don't like that word God, but goddess, divine, wholeness, whatever works for you. And if you only knew it, that's the truth of who we are. Behind the wave of your consciousness is the sea of divine presence. So our individual waveforms, we're a channel of this expression in us. We can be used as instruments for that. And there's different Christian Saint Francis's prayer, etc., that so many ways to remind us if you're attuned to that. But we're going to take our practice into that return to the truth of who we already are. So I'll stop with I'll be talking through the class, but we'll get into the practice of breath and movement and this intention of returning to our true nature and inner peace, which is beautiful. And we have to look within for that. And behind that wave is the sea of divine presence. Our individual wave is the sea. So let's breathe. Let's just tune in to the breath. I'm going to back up a little bit. So before we do any classic pranayama, I invite you to close your eyes, turn the palms up, thumb and index finger together, individual self, unifying with the infinite, and just exhale through the nostrils. Hear that oceanic sound. Now inhale to whatever pace feels right to you. Top off, hold the breath for a moment at the top of the inhale, and then exhale through the nostrils. Root down through the feet and ground at the end of the exhale. You'll do this several rounds. I want you to feel what's called heart rate variability. You'll feel more energy on the inhale naturally. Hold the breath at the top of the inhale. And then as you exhale, you'll feel more calmness naturally. This is going on every inhale, every exhale. Our heart rate variability will bring energy on the inhale, calmness on the exhale. And as you know, as you continue to breathe, you get to regulate. Do I want more calmness? Lengthen the exhale. More energy, lengthen the inhale, balance, equal inhale, equal exhale. 5-5, you're always topping it off on the inhalation for a moment. So tune into what your body's needing at this time and this moment. Hearing that oceanic sound. Again and again out, that metaphor of Yogananda is we are that individual wave that really can't be separate from the ocean, but at times it feels like that, but we can return because that is our true nature. It's already there. That seed is in, that soul is our soul. And many ways, many practices, many paths to come back. And we're all on the yogic path, on the yogic, one of the many paths back home. All right. And then we're going to get a little bit more vigorous before we go to the mat with the breath work. This is called bellows breath. So 2 classes ago, we sliced through some challenging emotions with movement and sound. And we can utilize this bellows breath to do that, or just to cleanse our body of the gunk, of the Maya, the delusion, the stuff that just gets us caught in all kinds of ways. Or we can use it as clearly an energetic practice. So when you use bellows breath, on the exhale, the thumb's going to come in and the fingers are going to wrap around. But the inhale, I'm going to back up a little bit. The inhale, the palms are going to reach out. And then the exhale, we're going to go, ha. And the elbows are in our pockets. That's a Pilates stand, elbows in your pockets. So we're going to do this 12 times, okay? Inhale, exhale, ha. Inhale, exhale, ha. So inhale, palms open. Exhale, wrap the thumb, make the sound. Inhale at your own pace, ha. Ha. Ha, ha, ha. Palms open. Ha, ha. 2 more. Ha, ha. Okay, tune in. Notice how you're feeling with 12 rounds of bellows breath. If you get hit by some emotional tsunami, you'll probably want to do more. Well, I want to do like 3 sets, like you do at a gym, but 3 sets of 12 breath works to release that energy and get the flow going. All right, I'm going to come to the mat now. And we'll continue. I'm going to do the seated cat-cow. So this one, if you're plugging in the feet, the hands could be underneath the thighs or on top, below the knees. And we're going to lift the heart, lift through the crown of the head, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, round with sound. Either gentle, mild, medium, or loud, depending where your emotional body is. Inhale. Today, lengthen up, heart lifts, shoulders down. And then exhale. Rounded spine, tucking the chin to the hollow of the throat. 2 more. Inhale, keep rooted through the feet, lengthening up. And then exhale, releasing. Hear that oceanic sound. Let the breath return you to the truth of who you are. Already whole, already free. Exhale 1 more time. And now we're going to inhale. This is going to get a little more intense, just like life. It's a little more intense, but can we stay present? This is a Pilates move. We're going to interlock the fingers. If possible, extend the right leg. If this is too much, you could keep that foot planted. And we're going to draw that right elbow down and then come to center about 5 times. Just scooping that elbow down, core work, strengthening our capacity to be with intensity in our bodies in this moment, and off the mat, whatever challenges may come today. And then plant that foot, lengthen up. Let's do 1 rounded with both feet on the ground. Release. Cat cow seated. And then we're going to go to the left side. So I'll turn around. The left leg possibly is extended or the foot is planted. Interlock. Elbow scoops down, comes back up. 5 times total. You feel it in the core. Try to go knee to knee as best as you can. Listen to the sound of your breath. It's in a partial wave to the side. I think this is 4. And then 5. Strong, right? Meant to be. Plug in the feet. Lift the heart. And then we get to ease down. So we're going to roll down. And take your time. Tuck the tailbone under. Any props to the side, wherever you feel comfortable with, as we shimmy shake down, low, mid, upper back, head, grounds, root through the feet, plug in the spine. Let's take a moment and Supta Baddha Konasana. Right hand on the belly, left hand on the heart. Remember, another key in yoga is the central channel. We're free of duality. We're free of Maya. Delusion, okay? So many practices bring us back to neutral as your belly expands on the inhale, heart opens, crown of the head opens, exhaling through the nostrils, back in the opposite from crown to heart to belly to feet. Do a couple rounds here. Really returning, getting used to returning to the central channel. Now, stay there. Neutralization, I remember in my younger days, that sounded pretty, not alive, not vital, not living life, just kind of going around neutral. But that's not it at all, as we know in maturity land, is that we could be neutral, but there could be bubbles of joy, of course, within us, different types of feelings, but we're not necessarily going to be, knocked over in that tsunami. Or if we do, we come back. Okay, so neutralization, I've learned over years, which I've always been taught, is a beautiful thing, but now it's really coming to fruition. All right, so slowly start to bring your inner thighs toward one another. Okay, and the feet are hip width apart. We're going to do some rolling bridges. I often cue this at the end of the class. We're starting at the beginning. So plug in the spine, large toes in. We're going to do sweeping bridges, if it works for you, with the arms. Inhale, lifting the hips. You can do that yogic bridge variation or Pilates bridge variation. The arms are going to reach up, shoulders plug in, palms open. Exhaling, every thought is a bridge potentially back to our true nature. We find ourselves somewhere else. And the mind does that a lot, okay? Arcing, digging the sacrum in, flattening. But here's our affirmation. Every thought will be a bridge lifting up back to my true nature. So your affirmation could be, peace fills my body now. Even though that may not be the ultimate truth, you're affirming that. You're moving back toward that. That's the aspect of divinity. Peace is one of the qualities. Arcing, flattening, and then inhaling. Now I'm going to hold here, lifting up. Now keep the legs lifted, the thighs lifted, as the arms come back and all around. And see if we can interlock. Chin tucking to the hollow at the throat. Now you can feel energy, peaceful energy fills my body and my being. Peaceful energy fills my body and my being. And then release the hands, ripple down, feel the back melting into the support of the earth. Grounding. Digging the sacrum in. Shoulders away from the ears. They like to crunch up there, flattening. Low back. And happy baby. Or first, let's do those egg beaters. Inner borders of the feet together, hands on the knees. Circle the knees apart 3 times. And you guessed it, going in the opposite. So really tuning in to what your body needs, and only you know that. Only you know that. As the knees come to the shoulders, and happy baby. Moving from the right corner of the abdomen over to the left. If you want to extend one leg at a time, go ahead. See what works for you. Just tune into the breath. Take in that affirmation. Peace fills my body. So a lot of yoga breath work works with calming the mind. We've heard that over again. Calming. The next layer is peace. So first we start with calming, and then that allows us to move into more peace. Okay, a little bit more core before we do some vinyasa flow work. So press your hands into your knees, flex through the heels, peel back the toes, feel your low back plugged in. Okay, we're going to do that opposite for our brain, for our body. Arms reach up, shoulders to the mat again. Opposites. Right arm goes back, left leg extends. Keep plugging in the low back. The mic coming up. Left arm, right leg. Next sound. We're going to do 6 to 8 of these. Right arm, left leg, opposite. At your pace, if you feel your low back, press into your knees, coming off the ground. Opposite arm, opposite leg. And again. We're exhaling through the mouth now. One more set. Back to center. And again. All right. And then if you want to double, both arms, both legs. That's a lot. Start to keep the low back down there. All right, let's give ourselves a treat, interlocking below the right kneecap. Extend that left leg or keep the left knee bent. Rotate the right ankle. Keep those shoulders easing away, and now let's open up the right hip. Tune into the right side of the body. More so as we go into our wonderful twist. That's a really great way to get the gunk out of the physical body, which is connected, of course, to the emotional and mental. Plug in that right foot. Shift the hips over. I'm going to ease over onto my side of my mat here because of the wall. Placing the right foot on the thigh, and then using your opposite hand to go back and forth. Back and forth. Hydrating. Notice what happens to your head. Eases away from that bent knee and then comes back to center. Now you can stay with the knee bent. You can extend that leg. It's really nice to have this wall here. Rotate the left toes to the side. Engage the core. Wide open through the heart. This is one of my favorite affirmations in life and in this yoga pose. As we sweep our right arm above the head and let it be like a windshield wiper. Divine life flows in me and is all around me. You say it out loud, and then you can go more inward. You can personalize it if there's a particular deity. You could say that, like Krishna, life flows in me and all around you. Make it personal to you, or generalize. Divine life flows in me and it's all around me. Wide open heart. Soften that right knee. Plug in the foot, adjust back onto the spine. Fold that knee in, point and flex. Point and flex. So we're started on the ground in the tate, or it's going to be reaching the arms up, plug in the shoulders, simultaneously stretch, 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 stretch. Once that right heel touches, draw the inner borders of the feet together, half moon on the ground. Clasp your right wrist, arc it over to the left. Feel the ribs expanding, the life force opening, strength and courage. Feel my body cells. Strength and courage. Fill my body cells. When you're ready to come out, you can stay longer or release now, and then it becomes more quiet, the affirmation, more mental. Feel that right side, probably longer, more, it's just feels way more open on my body, perhaps yours. Real good. Adding the mudra, thumb, index finger, palms out. That solar energy is flowing. One big part of the hatha of it is just to let the flow happen, let the healing happen, get the stuckness out. And let's do 6 to 8 rocks with the right foot moving to the side from the hip, heads turning to the left and center. Again, past trauma, past tensions, free up body and the brain. Okay. And rest and reset, rest and digest. We're doing that heart rate variability throughout the class. We're energizing and then we're relaxing and letting go. Energizing with it and relaxing and letting go. Left side, lunar energy. Getting more of our witness observer self. Draw that left knee in and rotate the ankle. We know where we're going. You can bend that right knee, put the knee on your back. And just tune in. Have I checked in with my witness observer? That's a real key to get out of Maya, by the way, delusion. So much the I, the me, the ego, circle that left knee around, seems to be running the show a lot. And then we go, okay, wait a minute, all right, yeah, but can I detach? In Buddhism it's called non-attachment, and yoga, can I look at my life from that witness observer from the aerial mountaintop? It's very freeing. Could I let others be, them, and me not have to scramble around and get into it? Anyway, it goes on and on, the stuff. Planting the left foot down and swiveling the hips to the left, placing your left foot on the right thigh, left arm out to the side. We know how to do this. I like to do it almost all the classes, easing back and forth. It's so great. Pulsing back and forth and really luxuriating and releasing the left internal organs. It's just happening. It's just happening. And now it's key to have the shoulders touch the ground. You want to extend that leg, feel free. Rotate the toes of the right foot, those inner thighs drawing in, starting with the wide open heart, keeping that wide open heart. As the left arm comes up and around, there's a wonderful affirmation, returning to inner peace. Divine life flows in me and is all around me. And then softer, divine life
flows in me and it's all around you. So maybe you have time, just 5 minutes for this pose on both sides. That's going to get you realigned with the affirmation. Of course, we could say the affirmation without the pose, but it has more potency when we have movement. Do it, if possible. Do what you can here. Soften your left knee when it's time to come out. Plant that foot, swivel, folding your left knee to your shoulder. Keep that right leg engaged and extending. Reaching to the ball of your foot. And the arms reach up. And simultaneously, the arms reach overhead. When that left heel descends, stretch through the left side of the body. Open those ribs. Draw the inner borders of the feet together. Clasp the left wrist. Arc it over in our lying down half moon. Strength and courage. Fill my body cells. That inner strength. Strength and courage. Fill my body cells. And then ease. When it's time for you to let go, mini Shavasana. Adding thumb, index finger palms up. Draw that imaginary line down the center of the body. Live in the witness observer. Just imagine yourself on a mountaintop. Compassionately, non-judgmentally gazing at your life, your circumstances right now. Wouldn't there be any guidance for you right now? Others, listening, seeing what comes up. You don't have to wait to the end of the class. You can ask throughout the day, throughout the practice. You're going to rock that left leg from the hip, windshield wiper it, head to the right, and back to center. Right and center. So it might be glitchy at first, but most likely find the rhythm and the release. Really releasing. Okay. Back to center. Again and again. Right hand on the belly, left hand on the heart. Central channel breathing. Left and right merge into neutrality. And perhaps there's a bubble of joy in the heart. Neutral doesn't have to be boring. It actually awakens up our capacity to be present with ourselves and with others much more clearly than with all our stuff ping-ponging around. These fills my body cells, or whatever affirmation speaks to you, see what does. And bending the knees, we're going to rock and roll if that's available for your body. If not, you're going to roll onto your side and come up that way. But if you can't give it a month, okay. And if you're rocking and rolling, and you can take a moment and do boat pose, V pose. Within every breath lies infinite power. Just do 4 of these. Okay. Plant the feet down, roll onto the balls of the feet, walk the hands back or towards your hips. Enough to transition into our forward fold. We're standing now. So we're feet are hip width apart. Large toes in, Kind of go over with our hands over to the right, bend that right knee, extend out through that left hip, lift the head to ankle. So important to relax and cast aside any mental burdens, any unnecessary worries. And a lot of them aren't, some of them aren't, but again, what we can control, what can we have wisdom to let go of what we can't control as we bend our left knee, walk our hands over toward that left foot. Extend through the outer right hip. Deep belly breathing. Come back to center. Resting the palms at the hollows of the elbows. Slight bend of the knees. Yeah, but relax and cast aside any unnecessary mental burdens. And when we do that, we can release the weight. And we can open as we come up into a chair pose, into greater love, wisdom, and compassion as we rise up into eventually our mountain pose, but we're gonna lift off of the heels and then slowly come down with the arms and turn again, the palms forward, thumb, index finger together. Lengthen through the crown, to the sky, sun and moon. It starts the solstice. Really coming into those long summer days here. Rooting and grounding. If you're needing more grounding, you can place your hands on the thighs and root down. You can help yourself root and ground. All right, let's take a moment. And we're going to go into a vinyasa flow now when we're standing. I'm going to grab a drink of water and I'll be right back. Right there. And we're going to use that bellows breathing in our vinyasa flow. So this will all become clear as we flow along. If you choose, as always, we can start with our hands crossed at the thumbs at our heart. I really like that you really feel the heart, or the classic namaste. You can bring in others, as you know, to your mat that you'd like to send prayers of care to. Visualize them. And we're going to inhale into the namaste now, so we can tap into the spiritual. I'm going to put the foot on my mat. Head. Lengthen and grow. Add a mini back bend here or deeper back bend. You decide. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, swan dive forward. Maybe our first heading into down dog of the day. Inhale. Scooping out. Exhale, full body stretch. As we like to do, tread it out. Press into the base of the fingers. Okay. Cultivating that, again, that calm energy radiates. Make a circle, a half circle with your hips through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. If you want to ripple, you can bend the knees, bend the elbows, create that wave. Remember that we are that individual wave that can't be separate from the ocean. We are that instrument, that unique formation of the individual wave, but we're all held by the vast ocean of spirit. Let's come into plank. Do 2 push-ups if you can. Or knee down, meaning this variation. So we'll puppy pose it for a moment. So several ways to do puppy pose. One is to bring the hairline toward the earth and really feel that extension. Another is to lift off. It's called tenting the hands. I don't know if you can see it. I'm lifting onto the fingertips and you get a little more stretch, like taking the wrist off the ground. Okay, so puppy pose is our friend, or full down dog, and you can always do puppy pose if full down dog isn't available. Now we're gonna come onto our forearms. Reach back into a forearm plank for a moment, and then come onto the front of the thighs, the hips, unfurl the toes. So that balance, so first you're gonna kind of rock to side here, with some flow in our Cobra series. So it's gonna be a strong Cobra series, okay? So we're gonna use that bellows breath, I'll demonstrate, about 5 times in our Cobra. So I'll demo once. So we're gonna lift up and engage the legs. Okay, we draw with that W shape in our shoulders. And then we're gonna go up and then fold those thumbs in and draw back like we, okay, let's come up into the beginning Cobra, but then make a, hold on to your thumbs, reach back, extend forward with the palms out, and then ha, do this 5 times. Inhale, ha, inhale, ha, inhale, ha, inhale, ha. One more time, inhale, ha. And now we get to release and relax. Stack one hand on top of the other, lift the spiritual eye, rest at the hand, soften the shoulders, breathe naturally. You can really feel your belly breathing here. So the first 5 chakras are the elements of creation and the elements in our body. The upper, the 6th chakra, and the spiritual eye and the crown of the head, these are more of our transcendent qualities that we're in our physical body. Of course, we need the 5 for health, functioning, you know, all the stuff we do. But then in terms of yoga and transcendence, we're really tuning into the spiritual eye. We're drawing that energy up and not having it clogged at the back of the ego jam back here in the back of the neck. But naturally, it goes to the spiritual eye in this pose. And there's many meditation practices that focus at the spiritual eye. So that I be single, the whole body shall be filled with light. That's the biblical verse. And Yogananda states it in the yogic context. And we're going to rise up. We're going to rise up because who knows what the challenges are going to be today, right? He's going to be one of them here for us that live in Northern California. But there could be several we don't even know about as we bring our hands back. We press through the wrist, like strong pubic bone digs into the earth at first. And then we're rising up to meet whatever this day is going to bring. Perhaps the hips, pubic bone come off the floor, the knees maybe, shoulders down. Stick out the tongue, lion's breath. Do that again. Opening to meet the life's challenges from our soul self, from our conscious divine self. And really, sometimes the ego self is in there, but that's our intention. And then we come back and we go into a rounded cat, turning the toes under, rounded cat, opposite from the cobra. We'll play with this couple rounds. Inhale. You started with our seated cat. There's a classic cat. First, we're going to take care of our animals in the heat today. We go side to side. And when you're ready, we'll go back to down dog, full body stretch, hover for a moment, strengthening, and then lifting the tailbone high, treading it out. Keep magnetizing the heart toward the thighs. Calm energy radiates through every cell of my body and fiber of my being. Make it Circle the head, releasing unnecessary mental burdens. We're already in a forward bend here, balance to the wisdom of the heart, letting it lead the way. And then when you're ready, step, with the feet, walk the hands back, massage the scalp, especially the back of the neck there. And those two hollows. Again, that's where the ego can get really stuck, and we want the energy to go to the spiritual eye. So we're massaging, casting aside mental burden, scrubbing your brain. Getting that stuckness out. So much of psychology is belief systems, all belief systems running through. We could update them, and we could scrub them out, casting inside the old belief systems. Oh, that's a whole thing we're not going to get into. Then the knees, and reaching back, lifting the heart in chair pose, Uttasana, strength training, using that. Sweeping up. Remember, we're cutting through. We'll do this a couple times. Whatever stuck emotion may be lingering, we slice it. We talked about impatience last time. Slice it through. Or whatever it is. Inhale, coming up. Lifting up off of the heels. Yeah. And then feeling the space all around you. As you circle, starting from the thighs, and then moving up to the shoulders. The knees are bending. So, clearing from the inside out. Okay. So, review of a couple weeks, we did that slicing, but you can also do that kind of karate. That opposite hand, opposite leg. So whatever the gunky, or it can just feel funky, like some insecurities coming up. If you can name it, you can tame it, right? It's another psychology mindful principle. So whatever the junk is, you're double breathing it out. So you're moving it out, and then what are we planning in? Right? What do we see them? Affirm and plant in. So sometimes it can happen right away. Other times it's a much bigger process, depending what's going on in our worlds. All right. So we'll come back to mountain. Index finger, and we'll continue with our vinyasa flow. Yeah. Let's come to face the front of the mat. We are already doing that. We're going to step our right foot back and spin the foot 30 degrees in our classic Virabhadrasana 1. So again, we're going to use that bellows breath. So take a moment here and just sense, tracking your left knee over your ankle, maybe walking this left foot out to the side more for stability. Maybe it's not happening now, but see what kind of emotional challenge has come up for you, okay? And just identify it. And then we'll use that bellows breath 4 times to release it. So this is personal to you, what the gun could be, what the difficult emotion could be. You want to identify and name it. We want to work with our practice. As you can see, my palms are open. And then we wrap the thumbs and we release it out. Opening to it and then releasing out. I use the word insecurity. This heat, uncomfortable for sure. Okay, and now we rise up at the index finger extension. Come forward with the hands. Before what we're going to plant and affirm, We'll do that on the other side. The first side is the release side. We step it back to our plank. Either puppy, knee, chest, chin chaturanga, or classic chaturanga. Coming down, uncurling the toes, coming into half bow. So cobra, of course, is the back bend. Now we're going to take it into a deeper back bend. So you may have to get your strap here. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring our right forearm in front of us. And the left knee is going to bend. And we're going to reach back for that left foot. We're going to kick it back. And we're going to lift the thigh maybe. So we're recharging all that scattered energy that can take us in this duality and this yin and yang and all this stuff going on. We're recharging that scattered energy. So the affirmation is, I recall and that scattered energy and come into my central channel. I recall that scattered energy and bring it into my central channel. And then release. We're going to do the same sequence to the other side. But first we're going to rise up in a flow, in a full cobra, Bhujangasana, shoulders down. Tongue out, lion's breath. Knees touch down if you're not already. Transition into your downward facing dog. Flow. Side to side or anywhere you like, stable. Any more stability, stay stable. Calmness and peace radiate through every cell of my body, every fiber of my being. And we're going to giant step the right foot. May take a couple step with the right foot forward, left foot 30-degree angle. We can walk with right foot out to the side of it. And we can come up. We root down again. Tracking that knee over the second toe, tailbone down. And what are we planning and affirming? Okay, so that's an individual thing. What are we planning and affirming? The first part is one side is releasing the tongue out. Another is what are we going to bring in? So I'm going to use a classic affirmation, but feel free always to adjust it for you. Okay? Yoga psychology. So we're going to inhale. I attune my will to the source of all power. Going back again and again to our true nature. I attune my will to the source of all power. That's what I'm planning and attuning with this affirmation. That is the practice of yoga. I attune my will to the source of all power and get that right alignment. The individual self as an instrument opens to the greater cosmic energy, that wave. We are individually supported by the ocean. As we step back, and maybe one push up. But we're all, okay, you can do knee, chest, chin, chaturanga, or all the way down. Go to the other side. So take a moment. And our bow pose, okay, our half bow. And we're going to bend that left forearm in line with the spine. Then the right knee. There'll be a different story on this side. Use a strap or you can move a long sleeve shirt around. Take it back. Now this is a lot. This could be your pose, no problem. Or maybe that thigh was a little bit. So all that scattered energy, we're recharging it, not having to go yin yang everywhere, ping ponging around. Recharging it into the central channel of our spine. That's what the practices do. Start with the physical, the hatha yoga. And then we go into more subtle realms. And then we release. And we get to rest and digest. Okay? So let's stack the opposite hand, if you can remember, on top, resting at the spiritual eye, letting the ego down, the knee story, soften, let the shoulders soften, let the center high, soften. And breathe. Breathe and be. Past and future does come up in the mind, but we're resting in this moment, in the eternal now. Really take a full deep yogic breath. Feel your back body standing to the sky, supported by the earth, lips smiling. Resting and digesting. Parasympathetic nervous system. Rest and digest. Calming. Yeah, keep your foot apart. We're going to rise up again. Rising up in our cobra. Okay. So get those W arms and to feel the strength of the back. Then plant the hands. Rising up. Needing to stay. Open heart as much as possible. Sometimes we can boundaries, And then let the knees come down. Go wide with the knees into prayer pose. With every breath, that's infinite power that's sustaining everything, not only your body, this entire universe. And to go with that, infinite power in every breath. Okay, we'll do hair pose, Satsangasana. I don't always bring this one out. It's a very interesting affirmation. All these come from the Ananda affirmation, the Yogananda. We're going to bring our knees together. And this could be a lot on the, feeling all of the digestive stuff here. Try to bring some compassion here. Now, we're going to come on to the top of our head. So we fold with the forehead toward the knees. The crown of the head is going to eventually touch your chin. You can reach your heels or arms can be by your side. And we'll roll onto the crown or even the back of the head. So we come away from the upper body, comes up, and we hold on. Really feel that opening in the shoulders, back of the heart. Stay with it. The affirmation is, I am master of my body. I am master of myself. So this self-mastery. I am master of my body. I am master of myself. We can return. And the master's tongue does not show that they're mastery, but the point that we can do the same. We can have mastery, and it's a process. And then slowly come down, release your head out, and rock side to side a little bit. Cool. And eventually roll up. As we align with the spine and the divine, we just let that energy rise up. Start bring it up to the spiritual eye, second possible in front of us. And let that light, wisdom, peace, Or through every cell in our body, every fiber of our being. So the hopping over the breath work, we're not quite done yet. Prepare us for meditation. I noticed I didn't cue a balance pose here, so this is a challenging. We did the half bow, and when I do half bow, I love to link it to dancer. But if dancer isn't in your practice, you feel free to do tree pose or any type of balance pose that works for you. So we're going to transition, shake it out, not forward fold, relaxing and casting aside unnecessary worries, so that we can open to. We're going to ripple up greater love, wisdom, and compassion. We can free ourselves when we're done. I'm going to invite you to bring a chair over, or maybe the wall you can use. Get not. Okay. All right. This will be our kind of finale before we do some relaxation. So dancer, Nataraj Asana. As I move through life, I'm anchored in myself, or I can return. Okay. Moving down through that left foot. You're going to lift that right foot up and see if we can sweep it back, clasp the ankle, the outside or the inside of the foot. Try to go knee to knee here. Now this is, of course, a balance pose right away. Possibly lift that left arm up. Just like half bow we did on the ground, we're keeping that leg back. So obviously we're on one leg. And when we move forward, I should have brought this chair out in front of me more. But see if you want to reach the chair or put your hand out in front. As I move through life, I'm anchored in my divine self. As I move through life, I'm anchored in my divine self. Slowly coming out. Ooh. And it's okay if you swirl around. Back swirl around now. Let it go. And let's go to the other side. All right, rooting down to the right side. See what the side brings. It's going to bring a different quality. And it's good to, well, first I like to look at the ground first. Clasping that left foot. And then my eye gaze comes out in front as I lift out on the horizon or slightly higher. I add mudra with the right hand. And then you decide where you want to take it here. Your body will help you decide that. As you kick back, you fall, you can come back. As I move through life, I'm anchored in my divine self. As I move through life, I'm anchored in my divine self. You can stay here long, then get it up. Sometimes swirling around. Ready for the calming sequence. That was focus and steadfast, right? Those qualities as well. Okay. So we're going to come down into a squat, release our back, and then up to up for a shoulder stance against the wall. So coming down, bending the knees. Just like we started an hour ago, round in our seated cat, your hands underneath your thighs or on top, exhale round. And then shimmy shake down. Press through the feet. Keep the arms overhead. Thank you, body, for all you can do. Happy baby, yay. Hold the rock side to side. Yes, and let's ensure we release back like in the big heaters. A couple times in each direction. And this is where you get to play. You know, hopefully the whole class, but picking a pose that would really speak to you before we move into Shavasana. So I'm going to cue up supported shoulder stand with the bolster, because it's such a great inversion that most of us could do. If you want to do full supported shoulder stand, I could do that too. Otherwise, you're using the bolster about a baseboard away from the wall. And just like it says, supporting yourself. If there's any neck issues, you don't want to do full supported shoulder stand, which I'll show in a moment. Okay, it's contraindicated for obvious reasons. The legs could come up. And you could stay here for a long time. You could do variation of legs to the side over time. You could do Supta Baddha Konasana, or just stay in your classic shoulder stand, supported shoulder stand. If you're doing it with your arms and neck issues, and the affirmation again is God's peace, bless my being, or divine peace, bless my being, or simply peace, bless my being. And make it personal to you, depending on your faith belief system or a universal peace, qualities, aspects of the divine. So if we're going to classic, I should show you that using the blanket. You always want the blanket at the edge of the shoulders and the head over. You could stack it as much as you like. You know how many people will be doing this, but we're here, and then we give it some pumps like a plow. But then you rock one elbow, then the other, and this is half shoulder sweep. You're energizing your legs. You don't want to talk unless you're instructing. Breathe in, breathe out. If you want to stay, if you want to go higher, you walk up the spine. But I'm going to stay with that. You are doing this variation. At some point, you can extend one leg. Peace. What is my being? Other. That inversion. Shifting everything from my usual standing pose in the opposite direction. Profound benefits. Headstand, king of the asanas, shoulder stand clean for this shift. Now I'm going to come out via plow. Okay, you can stay longer. And you're going to ripple down. Good. And I'm just going to bend my knees. And if you've done shoulder stand and you're not against the wall, I would cue you into the fish pose. Pressing through the forearms, arcing the spine, coming up the back of the head. My soul floats on waves of cosmic light. We're really starting to feel that individual self softening into the waves of the ocean supporting you, cosmic light, cosmic sea, the individual self as an instrument that merges back. That's our true nature. It's really can't be separate, even though it can feel like that. So getting yourself as comfortable as possible, that could be legs up the wall, still for shoulders stand, or our guided Shavasana. Remember, Shavasana means porch pose. We're dying to the ego. We're dying to the limited individual self that is so used to controlling the show, and society affirms that. It keeps getting affirmed and affirmed, so it's not easy, but it's natural to return to our true self. But it is a practice, and all of us have a tradition that the I story. So we're going to soften that, especially in Shavasana, when we are having to attend to things, body posture movement, just the breath. Come closer and support this. Okay. So comfort is key, and breath. All right, so starting like we traditionally do with the body scan. Just feeling your feet softening, pitches of the toes. Ankles left and right. If you want to move them around, circle in a position to do that, that may feel good. Relaxing the calves, left and right. Knees, the front, back, sides of your knees. And just send them golden threads of light, healing light, if you're going to any part of your body that may be needing that with extra healing. Softening the thighs, front and back. The cheeks. And really luxuriating in belly breathing. Just allowing a diaphragmatic breathing, the belly to expand on the inhale. Condense and relax on the exhale. Taking that breath prescription, what you need. Letting the ribs smile and expand. You can space inside the heart for all those waves of feeling to come and go. And it's animating this form. As you allow the shoulders to soften and feeling that radiant sensation streamlining down the arms, natural bend of the elbows, the hollows there, noticing the hollows, palms of the hands, natural bend of the wrists, left and right. And the temperature in the palms of the hands, digits of the fingers and thumb. Hear the sound of the oceanic breath, most audible in the throat. Maybe even exaggerating a yawn. Yawning is now research proven to relax the nervous system. So we naturally do it, but we can actually artificially invoke it, taking a wide yawn
And it relaxes the soft palate, which has been proven to relax. It's a way of releasing, softening anxiety. Yawning is a friend. And you want to make a little sound when you do that. Ah, sound. That'll help as well. Softening the eyes is also proven. So obviously a deep relaxation of the whole body. The jaw and the eyes are key. Parasympathetic restoration of parachute of calmness and peace. Returning to inner peace. Open to the crown. And affirming, this is from Yogananda, the eternal life of the divine flows through me. I am immortal. Behind the wave of my mind is the ocean of cosmic consciousness. The eternal life of the divine flows through me. I am immortal. Behind the wave of my mind is the ocean of cosmic consciousness. I am the ocean of spirit. Say it once more softly. The eternal life of the divine flows through me. I am immortal. Behind the wave of my mind is the ocean of cosmic consciousness. I am the ocean of spirit. And just notice if you'd like to rest and longer, or if you're ready to return to movement. Remember our theme, returning to our true nature. The purpose of yoga is to awaken us from the stream of delusion and show us a greater reality. Behind the wave of your consciousness is a sea of divine presence, and you must look within to find it. Yogananda. You want to wiggle the fingers and toes or stay as you are. Maybe rest on your side. And sending this vibratory energy, healing energy of sound to others, and visualizing them at the spiritual eye. You can rub the hands, you can have the hands on the thighs, whatever feels right to you. With that 3-syllable Om sound, the Ah, Om, inhaling. Ah. And bringing the hands in namaste, acknowledging that divine light within you. That's where we are one, that consciousness within everyone and everything can't be separate from the ocean itself. Namaste. Thank you all for being here and practicing.